you need something?
I was just looking for my purse. Shit.
She needs her purse. No behind the scenes. Welcome to Keith and the Girl. I'm Keith Malley.
I'm Chemda.
I have another new guest for you. I think you're going to like it. Featured on NBC's Late Night with Seth Meyers, Brian Mitchell.
Hello. Howdy dowdy.
Oh, boy.
Did you practice?
Oh, boy.
I think I'm going to go with Hottie Dottie.
Yeah.
Ingratiate myself. I was watching your stand-up. Congrats on everything, by the way.
Thank you.
I think you're great. You were talking about being a Jehovah's Witness, which interests me. My dad was a Catholic priest. I notice, in general, the people I meet that grew up religious are the opposite. Am I right on that?
You are correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that's a hard one to get out of.
Right. Well, I'm looking up Jehovah's Witness, and I'm like, is this the same as Mormon? Is this the same as anything else I've heard of? So I type in, it's not, but I type in, are Jehovah's Witnesses, and guess what auto corrects or auto fills in? The very first thing, are Jehovah's Witnesses black?
Huh.
That means a lot of people are looking for black Jehovah's Witnesses, right?
Does it mean people have never saw one and they're asking could they be included?
I've seen a lot of black Jehovah's Witnesses. So
See, I think the opposite. I think that it seems like all the Jehovah's Witnesses I met are black. Like, I would...
that's what
yeah.
from being in New York for the past couple of years, I've seen only black Jehovah's Witnesses. So I guess in the Midwest, like my congregation was completely white. So I guess I get that. I guess it's coming from the Midwest.
Well, now that I think about it, and thank you for making me think about it,
You're welcome.
I only knew one white Jehovah's Witness, but it's not like I knew a ton of Jehovah's Witnesses. They tend to stay in their own pack. Like, I imagine, like, because even I worked with a couple of them, and they were not having a lot of shit. So we changed the party at the end of the year instead of a Christmas party to like an end of the year party, which
That is
I
very
think,
nice.
Well, I think, yeah, because why are we celebrating Christmas? Like, it was a Jew-owned company.
Well, this also, another autofill is, are Jehovah's Witnesses Christians? Do they believe in Christ? And, it's that, these people typing it in are like, well, can I give them a break? They at least believe in Christ, don't they?
Yeah.
Do they?
They do.
Okay.
Yeah. Christ. You got to have Christ. Jehovah is Jesus' son.
Jesus had a son in this one.
Oh, God
No.
God is Jesus' son, right?
God is Jesus' son?
Yeah, God right here up
Okay,
top,
okay.
number 1 depth chart, and then Jesus.
Okay.
Right.
And then Jesus had a son.
No, I think there was some
okay,
confusion here, I
okay.
think. So you're just saying God,
Yes.
and then God had Jesus.
Correct.
The end.
The end.
Okay, so there's a little confusion there.
Yeah.
We got to the bottom of it.
Okay.
It's the same Jesus.
Yes,
I was
it
like,
is, yeah.
what did they not tell me? Should have kept, watching after the credits for all these movies.
Also, that pops up, are Jehovah's Witnesses allowed to drink? Are they?
No, right?
In moderation. That was the moderation.
One of your parents is alcoholic.
Maybe. But most of the time that was always frowned upon. There was always, wine was the big thing. Because Jesus had wine. So that's the one. But not really I didn't see many beer drinkers around.
How many down does it say can Jehovah's Witnesses have fun? Because you're not allowed
no,
to.
you're not allowed to have fun.
No, no birthday party celebrations. No celebrating any holidays. No, just
Can't get them out of there. I remember in grade school, whenever we would have like a birthday party,
they'd excuse you. Go to the nurse.
I would go to the library.
Oh no!
And I had like my own little corner, like in the library, because it was like, here's your books, Brian, and it's like I had my comics, and sometimes like the lunch ladies would give me like a snack too, because I would hang out with them, because also not having fun, like I would just hang out with older people because I only hung out with older people like growing up in the Jehovah's Witness.
Would you not? Would you not celebrate your own birthday?
No, I would not.
You don't even know how old you are.
It took me a little bit.
Would your parents say, like, in that morning, like, hey, like, did they give you like a little tap on the shoulder, like, we know?
Not my mom would be like, you were born on this time and all that kind of stuff. But my dad would wait the day after and be like, hey, looks like you turned a new number. Huh? How you doing?
Oh, they're talking in code. Is Jehovah's Witness short for Jehovah's Witness Protection Program? Because you guys are not allowed out.
It really was like when my parents got a divorce. That was like when I was 16, like going into like my freshman year of high school. That's
controversial.
That was like my first time I was able to hang out with non-Jehovah's Witnesses, like out and about.
Time out.
Yeah.
16, first year in high school. What's going on?
Just an emotional exercise of like dealing with.
Isn't that older to go into 9th grade, or was it 10th grade?
Well, 15, 16.
15, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
around that area. Yeah, I did.
Just checking your numbers, man.
Jehovah said, I prayed to Jehovah, and he's like, you got to stay home for a year. You got to learn. You got things to learn.
So that was controversial, right? Like your parents splitting up. That doesn't happen in the church. And it was extra controversial because
my dad was an elder. And
that's important. That's the in the Jewish religion, it'd be the biggest, furriest hats with credit cards hanging off them, right?
Yes.
Yeah. You're an
Everything.
elder. Why are you willing to fuck up when you're an elder? First of all, what do you get when you're an elder?
What do you get? You get stage time. Okay. You get so much like when you're good, because you get to give like sermons on Sundays, and like you would get if you're good, like good elder, you would go to like multiple different congregations. So you got to go on tour, and like a family will like make dinner for you after. So it's kind of like you're kind of a little bit of a rock star. You're going around.
Your dad was very charismatic.
Yeah,
and so that's the thing with people in religion. They feel like I feel like they suppress it, and it only comes out in religious talk. So they're only allowed to be charismatic in this weird atmosphere of repression.
And that's why I loved like watching my dad all the time, because like it was just like I've never seen like how he was like just on stage, just like commanding everyone, and like seeing how everyone wanted to talk to him after the talk. I was like, I want that. Like you just to have like this power of.
He did a good job.
He did a great job.
And what was he, just like a dork at home?
He was a dork. Yeah. I always
did
call
your
him.
mom sort of like treat him a little?
She was
like beta.
She was the. She grew up. My mom grew up in the projects of Cleveland, so like she's like the gangsta of our family. Because like my dad was like a nerd. Like he has like multiple like drawing books of him making his own comic book like people. So like my dad was just like, I'm just I'm Scott. And my mom was like, what? Come here, boy. It was just one of those type. It was a very.
I hope your mom's black too, saying shit.
Oh,
like
she's
that.
is. Oh yeah, she's.
Come here, boy.
Oh no, yeah, she's black, and all the times she would call me white boy. So just
did she?
But she was just being fun. Like that's how they were in the projects. So.
Well, it's obviously an insult, right?
It's an insult. Right. Yeah, but she was just kind of like she wanted me to be more black.
Was she calling you a nerd basically?
Yes.
So you saw a lot of disrespect on the side of like intelligence coming from your mom.
Well, I really
my dad would do this. Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt, but my dad would he's very charismatic, and like in my family no one went to college. I feel like our age it was like still an option to go to college. And my older brother was very studious, not necessarily good in school, but like studied what he wanted to learn. And as an adult, he went on vacation. He sent my dad a picture, and my dad starts laughing. He's like, "Look at your brother reading on vacation." And I was like, "Oh my God, you're 100 years old, smacking the books out of your own son's hands." And I was like, "Wow, that's what my brother has to deal with. Why are we sending you pictures?"
Yeah.
So was it kind of similar?
It was like. She was, I think it was like a little ribbing, but she was very she knew like I love computers and stuff. She would make fun of me a little bit, just kind of dig. But then I remember one day
her computer broke, and then what's up, Mom?
It was like when I was a kid. We went to go to the movie theaters. Mighty Ducks 2 was coming out, and when I got home,
you're allowed to see Mighty Ducks 2 as a Jehovah's Witness.
It was kind of like under the radar. Like we had to go and like it was like we're gonna like go, not telling anyone, But
you're the only black people in your neighborhood. Everyone knows who you are. The fuck are you doing?
I thought, I can just put on a new shirt. No one will know, But when I got home, she bought me a computer. So it's like one of those, like, she kind of knew, like, yeah, I'm Ribby, but this is what you love. So it's like she was very supportive to me all the way through. She's always been the best support.
Your father, on the other hand.
Yeah.
What did he do to the family?
Oh man. So like my mom and I, like I was baptized at a young age because I wanted to be like my dad. Yeah. I just wanted to follow in his footsteps. And there's this lady that was this fellowship that moved into our town, wanted to like get back into the religion. So you need to study.
Already. Where's this bitch from?
She was somewhere from Cleveland.
Was she witnessing already, or did your dad suck her into the witnessing?
No.
And I use the word sucking on purpose?
Yes, you can. And she was just like a random person. Like it was like one of those, we would go door to door like every Saturday.
Did that ever work?
Yes, it did. And I was really good at it.
Shut your fucking face. We'll get to that in a minute.
My dad would be very excited about you people coming over.
Oh, yeah?
Jehovah's Witnesses, not blacks. Holy shit. So now you got bust in from Pittsburgh or something. No thanks. So, but he would welcome you in so that he can sit down and convert you.
Bingo.
Would that ever happen?
Happened a couple times, yeah. And it was kind of like, nice try, buddy. Right? Yeah.
It's so funny because everyone's talking about Jesus. It's like, no, my Jesus had wonderful cloth. And
do you know what made Jehovah's Witnesses? What's special? What's different?
They found that book.
I think
is that the one with the book? No, right?
Oh no, that's the Mormons, Book of Mormons.
No, yeah, we did.
The Book of Mormons, the book.
The book you're talking about. Yes. For many years, we look at that book. But for us, I think we separated ourselves from from the pagan gods, the worshiping of material things and all that kind of stuff. I think the main issue was when John the Baptist got his head cut off because the daughter of some king wanted it for a birthday. It's like, I just want his head, So then they took that as
and said, no more birthdays for anybody.
No more fun because you're trying to kill like one of our favorite people. Oh, wow. So they're like, we can't do that.
A whole religion out of some bitch.
Who knew?
I meant Jesus, but anyway. So your dad greets this new person.
Right.
As does everybody.
Yeah, so like we studied with her for probably like 2 months or so, because like you have to go through kind of like a test, like you really want to get back in.
Oh man, so Catholics just go, all right.
You just do that? Oh no, you had to take a blood sample, all that kind of stuff. No, I'm just kidding. Kidding.
Okay.
Right. And she gets back into the religion, and she's entering, and everything's great, everything's cool. And then, it was like a Thursday. Man, I remember this day. It was like a Thursday. It was right after.
How old are you at this time?
I was like 15.
Okay.
Yeah, 15.
Oh, terrible age.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And I remember like after he had like a sermon, and like he wasn't the same. Like I could tell, like, because like we were buddies. Like he was a nerd, he was the older nerd, and I could tell something was different. And I remember like when we got home, he's like, they come downstairs, my mom and I, and then they come downstairs, and he says, your mom and I, we're going to get a divorce. And I just like bursting into tears.
Of course.
I'm like, what? And I
and you saw none of it coming.
None of it.
Okay.
None
Were
of
your
it.
parents obviously together? Like my parents didn't like being mushy or didn't say like nice things. Or my mother would try, and my dad would be like, ugh. I'm like, okay.
They weren't really mushy that I never saw really, and
so they can be just usual because you're just a regular family.
Yeah. And it everything seemed like normal. And then that just kind of And
Did
then
you ask why? Because I don't have divorced parents, but I imagine asking why is a bad idea.
I didn't at the time. I was just like, I kind of was like, why are you doing this? Like, you have the Bible. Like, why would you like break
Good
this up?
question.
And he's like, son, it's more than that. Like, there's more to
It's
life
more-
than the Bible.
There's more to life than the Word of God.
Right. And as a kid, you're like, what? Like, what does that mean? You know? So I remember he was like, well, I kind of wanted, divorce your mom a long time ago,
Oh, too
And I'm
much
like,
info.
like, yeah, like, I'm 15, like, you can't do this, but like, whatever.
And your mom was right there going like, mm-hmm,
No. She, he took us to our favorite park because I guess that's like a best scenario. It's like,
Ew.
like a home game. Like, here, this would be fun.
No, you ruined parks.
He
You take
ruined
me-
it.
You take me to McDonald's so that I can have my final McDonald's that I can choke down, then I throw up and never want McDonald's again. So you kill two birds.
Bingo. Give me my last McFlurry and call it a day.
Seriously.
But then like the elders like have a meeting like the next day, came like telling my dad like, hey, you can't do this. Like, you're gonna like break this whole congregation if you do this.
And he gets kicked out, right? Because you can't actually get divorced.
You can't get divorced. And
What is happening?
yeah. So they just felt so like there was like a Thursday sermon meeting where it's like Scott Mitchell is not with the church anymore, and I had to be there for that. And
So why he could get divorced, but they decide he can't be part of the church because he is an elder?
yes,
Okay.
so
In the Catholic religion, to be clear, you can get a divorce. You can't remarry.
I see. Okay.
yeah, so like they're like they thought they knew what was going to happen. So they're like, before this divorce, we're gonna have to disfellowship you. So they do, and the congregation is just like they don't like we were there. I was in that congregation like since I was like 5 or 6.
Oof.
So like all these people that I grew up with don't know how to deal with me, and it took me a long time to understand that they were dealing with that and like messed them up. So I'm like,
Because here is one of the leaders, one of the people
Yeah.
who we kind of look for moral compass from, like one of the people who has it together, beautiful family. The son is a nerd. That's perfect.
Perfect.
You're like behaving, I assume.
Yeah.
And then this break in one of the favorite people. He's charismatic. What happened? This can happen to us now. Like
Right.
this is the community. So you're dealing with everyone's freak out, and you're just a child.
just a child trying to figure it out, and like I want to hang out with my friends, and some of the parents were like, I don't think that's great.
Oh, and
So-
that's the only friends you're allowed to have.
exactly.
They're not allowed to be with like anyone but Jehovah's Witnesses, just in case they
Right.
learn about fun.
Right.
There's I forget the scripture, but it's like bad association spoils useful habits. Like that was the thing that they tried to pump into the kids so they can stay on the course or whatever. And that was just like I didn't know who to turn to. So like there was
So you
always
turn to the devil.
I turned to the devil and I learned. But like there's always kids in high school that wanted to hang out with me because that was kind of cool. I burned CDs for them because I was a nerd. Big deal. So like kids were like, hey, you want to hang out? I'm like, all right. Like no one else, they're like,
Did you feel guilty about that?
Yes.
Yeah. Did you do it secretly?
I did.
Yeah.
And I
'cause
got caught a couple times.
I did that secretly. Like I was allowed to hang out with non-Jewish women. They was frowned upon, but not like ethnically incorrect.
Yeah.
So I had to like hide and see like my black friend, and like eventually they weren't happy with another friend, so I had to lie about that. And yeah, you get caught, and it's like, sorry, I went to see my friend.
It was really
We went to
weird.
the movies.
Yeah, it was like fun stuff. Like I remember I went to a meeting and they're like, well, some kids saw you at bowling. I'm like, okay, like, are you guys spying on me? I was like, well, we just want to make sure like you're okay.
Yes. The reports from other people, I was like, man, adults are petty.
Right.
Petty. They would report to my parents, and I would look at that, at a certain age, and I feel like 15 is one of the ages you just go, and you had this conversation with your friend? So I started going, and then what? First of all, I wasn't on Main Street, but probably on Main Street everyone looks like me. Second, you're comfortable with your friend reporting this to you? Do you think that she's not going like, your daughter? Like, it's always from gossip, and you're just friends with this person?
Yeah, it's trying to put down your family.
Yeah. Like, did you know? And she was with a boy.
Oop, yep.
And I'm like, what? Sucking his dick? What?
Right.
What did you see? Tap me on the shoulder. Say hello.
So like a couple of years later, I remember it was like a year later, I started like dating a girl, and we were at Red Lobster, and
Wait, outside of the Jehovah's Witnesses?
yeah,
Ooh.
and I had to go like across town like once, so like I was like, you can't go to the good Red Lobster, you got to go to the one that's kind of oofy, you know, and like someone was there, and like I had to like we were like in line like waiting to get tables, so I kind of had to like duck.
Meanwhile, this poor girl is like, do you see your girlfriend? Like,
She
this
was
makes no
so
sense.
mad. Like I had to explain it all the time. I'm like, I'm hiding.
I didn't want anyone to know that my family was like that because I didn't want to explain why I'm hiding for stupid reasons.
Man.
Like, those people know my parents, so I have to go. And so, because we're eating in a place?
It was some like Harriet Tubman shit. Because it's like I would have to have her car like a couple houses down, so like I can like leave the house, and like she's like, oh, I'm just going with Kevin, you know. It was so then like that, like around that time where I'm.
But by the way, good for you for lying, and good for you for experiencing.
Thank
because you know, years later you go, right, that was bullshit.
Yeah.
I could have done so much.
I could have did so much.
Fuck
you know?
these people. You're getting divorced.
I should be able to do some of my own stuff,
Yeah,
you know.
but didn't you feel like, because the bad part is they're so good at guilt tripping that it never fully felt good. It was always like a part of me was like, I am the fuck up in the family. I am the one who's, you know, giving us a bad name, whatever the fuck that means. I am the one who's like giving all this grief to my family. And then you think about it, I'm like, I just want to dance.
I just want to dance.
16 years old.
No, yeah.
I want to kiss someone.
Yeah, it really took like a long time for me to like feel like comfortable having fun, because I always thought, because of this guilt trip, it's like I always thought like Jehovah's looking over me, and like I'm like, if I'm sinning in that situation. But I was dealing with so much like emotional things, like I need to be out, like I can't be in the house, like
Good for
it
you.
doesn't
And
feel good.
Kids, if you're listening, fucking do it.
Just go.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Just, you're really going to a movie. I swear to God, it'll be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying like go do the drugs, because your brain is not developed. But
Right.
come on, come the fuck on. Were you drinking at all?
I had a couple Mike's Hards in a Target parking lot. Yeah, I did that.
I had a couple Zimas.
Like, and all this time is happening, you know, I'm like hanging out, and then that's when like I hear like from my mom that my dad is gonna marry that woman that we studied with,
Right.
and that's when I like went complete like I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Why? What? Like, how long has it been? Do you think that you put it together? Like, wait, that's too short or something?
Or was he? Do you think, you don't know the word at the time, but do you think he's grooming her? Is that what seems egregious?
That's what I felt like. I felt like because I remember her, you know, being at the congregation, and like she really liked to talk to my dad. But I was like, okay, like you're kind of new, you're trying to get in. But and my mom kind of felt it too. I could, like, we talked about this a little while back, but just like you get that feeling, you know, you're just like that human, like. Like, you're okay, but there's something I don't understand, you know? And that really just turned everything on my head. And I was like, well, let's do some marijuana. Like, let's get crazy. Yeah.
And he's out of the church now for sure.
He's
ever
out of the
since then,
church.
nothing ever changed.
Nothing ever changed. Then, well, then like,
Did that upset your mom? Like, of all people, another one of me.
Yeah. Yeah, she was super bummed, and it was like one of those, I never saw like my mom sad, really, and that was like the point of like, you know, when you do the best you can.
Saw your mom's heartbreak.
Yeah,
That's hard. That's hard. Because I saw my parents get into a fight once because they did so much behind the scenes, you know, and we would also as a family get into a fight, and the next day no one talks about it, everything's fine, just go back, which is so harmful. But one time I actually saw them get into a fight, and I was in the corner just huddled up like I really genuinely don't know what to do. My life is over. Which, why?
Right.
Just why would I, you know? But my father was actually being pretty cruel, which I wasn't used to. You know, he's kind of a dick, but you know, they always kind of put up a front at least. Like maybe he was cold to my mom, but I don't know. He was saying weird stuff, and my mom was just devastated. And I'm like, right, you have no voice. And you've been talking this whole time, and where are you going to go? And they set up this thing. Here's the thing about divorce. Your parents set up that, like, we can't live with each other and blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, well, you already said you can't live with each other. Does that mean everyone's dying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, everything is over when really it's just, maybe I should have said, good. Can you fucking separate and possibly get a life?
Yeah.
I'm picturing when your parents tell you there's a divorce, there'll be a divorce, and your dad's like, "Yeah, I wanted the divorce a couple years ago," and your mom being like, "Okay, that's interesting. Had to throw that in."
It really was. It was just like she was taken back. She's like, "Well, I've been trying all this stuff, and then you know, it's just."
He goes, "Yeah. I've been faking my orgasms for 6 months." Oh, okay.
Oh,
well, anyway, we're not getting along.
Yeah, good to know. Good to know about my dad. But
what do you think about you? You've met your stepmom, right?
Oh, you don't like that title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't like said hello to her since this whole thing. Like, I haven't even talked to her. Like,
how long has it been?
It's been
sounds like 10 years.
Yeah.
And you still have talked to your dad?
I've talked to I had like one of those hash out things last year, like where I actually told my dad like everything that was on my chest over.
How old are you now?
I'm 35.
Okay.
I had to think about it because of my Jehovah's Witness not knowing birthdays.
Right.
And
that's funny because you look 25, so you could be.
Yeah. I need to look at my social security card. Yeah, it's just I told him everything I wanted, and I think I need to do that with her as well. Kind of just be like, you know, this is how I felt, because there's really no reason for me to hold this in anymore. I think that's what
It went well with your dad?
It did.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What was his response?
It was one of those where I also have to say Mike Brown really helped me hash this out with.
Oh yeah, Mike Brown has a feeling or two that he can't even get over.
And my dad really took it well, because it was one of those, like, he's been waiting for me to say this, like, to him. And it was very refreshing for him to just sit down with me and actually also be an adult and like understand what he's went through or what he's going through.
Were you speaking in anger, or were you speaking calm, or were you emotional in one way or another? Did you cry?
I cried when he started talking and stuff. Like, I felt like I had like the script I had in what I wanted him to say, so I was there. But then he's like, "I've been waiting for this." I was like, "Oh!" Then I just started crying.
And then does he say, "Mom was right, don't be white," or he lets you cry?
That's so funny, because I tried to talk to my mother one time. She was actually staying at my place from Israel, which is unusual, but my dad didn't come with her, so it's okay to stay not in a hotel. So, and I was dating Hennessy at the time, who identified as female at the time, and she just like ignored everything, and it was like the last day, and I go, "Can we talk about how we don't talk about anything? Like, there's like a couple of things that I want to." She starts crying. She's like, "I was hoping to avoid this. I only have like 24 hours left here. Why do we have to talk about anything?" And I'm like, wow,
right.
That's not even like undercover bullshit.
Yeah.
You just went, no, we do bullshit. Why are we bringing? So like, how refreshed? Can you imagine Keith talking to your dad, and your dad's like, "Finally the truth."
Right.
No, I think that's very lucky.
Yeah. I think
what could he have to say? Mind your fucking business.
Well, no. He was just, he where we talking about before, like when he was 16 or whatever, he's talking like, well, you know, we were having some issues like with our relationship together, and he talks about how just life in general, because like he was an architect or whatever, and you know, he got really busy with work, and he had to deal with a lot of issues with my sister's mom, my mom's sister, because like we had like two like foster kids live with us for a little bit because of some issues.
Issues. That's what religious people call fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Issues. Oh yeah, no big deal. Just foster kids. Something about my mom's sister. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
People fuck up. It happens to everybody. Jehovah's Witness. Allah. Here we go.
Yeah, and I think it was one of those. He kind of signed up for 2 kids and a family, but then add to 2 more. Kind of wasn't his plan, and I don't think he didn't know how to deal with that. I kind of want to be like, oh, you just couldn't deal with it. You could have spoke up, and it's like we could have like helped with a family together and resolve this. So that's another thing too. It's like when you learn like how your parents don't talk or anything, like that you have to force yourself like in new relationships to be upfront and like talk about stuff because you don't want this to happen again. And that that kind of takes a while for like, oh yeah, I'm doing that shit again. So. It was nice for him just to like talk, because now like being older, like I understand what he was going through and I get it, but I wish he would have said something, But it's that Midwest, we're not going to talk about it. We can figure it out on my own, but then you crash and burn.
Yeah, what a big mistake.
Is that a new thing that I add to the list? Midwest.
Yes.
It's that Russian mentality. It's that Middle Eastern mentality. It's that Irish mentality. It's that Italian mentality. Now I got to add Mideast, Midwest.
You got to add the Midwest to that.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
That's funny. So you have been in a relationship for 4 years now.
4 years, yeah.
So do you find yourself repeating your parents' mistakes? Like, do you still believe in God, for example?
Well, she said, I don't want you proselytizing. I don't want you going door to door anymore. That's bad news.
Like, no more door to door. I can't do it in my apartment anymore. But I would say that sometimes I get like caught up where I'm like, oh, like I have something that's bothering me, but like I'll just keep it inside until like it's something comes ahead. But like, but I think I'm learning now. And then she's really great at just like. Telling me to be upfront, and like she understands what I like went through, and like she's met my mom, and
I bet it took you a while to trust that that's real, because that's what took me, because my parents would be like, you can tell us anything, and we're a family, and we're this unique thing, and that's
Big
why
time.
you don't go out and be a whore, because we are this solid thing. And I'd be like, okay, I feel weird about this thing, and they're like, whore! I'm like, oh, holy shit! Oh my god, I don't even think I said anything yet,
Yeah.
And so I would keep trying. I'd be like, well, this is how I feel about things, and they're like, the fuck? And I'm like, no, not the fuck. Like, just regular emotions, and it would just be like devastating until I just shut down.
Yeah,
and it took me a long time to say my feelings, because you don't trust that somebody goes, no, I'll still be on your side. I made my mother. I'm not even kidding. One time I was dating someone who's not Jewish, and I'm like, as soon as they find out, they're gonna hate me. I'm not gonna have a family. This is you. And my mom keeps going, I love you. I'm like, will you love me no matter what? And she's like, yes. What would it take? Me signing something? And I'm like, could you? And I wrote it out, and I'm like, I'm not fucking around. You will sign this with your real signature, and I know what it looks like because I could forge it by this point. And she signed it, and I kept it in my wallet, and I'm like this. Not that I believe that would make her be on my side or be what I wanted her to be, but I was
great,
like,
though.
This is a conscious moment, Mom. Like I didn't have those words, but I'm like, you must be conscious. Like if this was my daughter going, sign this, I'd be like, what the fuck is happening? Why do I need to sign this? Maybe we should talk about something. She was like, yep, sign it. Okay, I love you. I'm like, okay.
There's no such thing as love court, you fucking idiot.
But you're totally right. It took me a long time for relationships because, like, I'm starting off like my first relationships are me hiding from this woman or whatever, or hiding her around, and then kind of just learning because like I felt like I had to play a little catch up too because I wasn't allowed to hang out.
You're learning how to lie and be a good person at the same time is very incongruent in your head. It's very like damaging.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm lying, but for a good reason. So then where else do you lie? And when do you come out with the truth? And is this truth worth it? Is this truth going to get me like smacked in the face emotionally?
Totally. Yeah, that took me a long time. I was lying like because I was like I'm trying to set you a little distance just with my lies a little bit. So then, but then they crumble. They crumble.
I bet you're the worst liar.
I'm terrible.
Yeah, you're
it's
the
all
worst.
good.
Yeah, because you actually feel bad that you're lying,
Yes,
and
yeah.
that makes the worst liar. Yeah.
Because you're like, what's wrong? I'm like, I'm lying. Dude.
Yeah. I don't really feel that. I feel completely opposite. Please don't hate me.
Yeah.
But I do want to go back to going door to door.
Yeah.
As a kid, you did that.
Yes.
Is that embarrassing? Is it? Were you so into your dad and what he was doing that you were like, whatever, they're wrong, I'm right, I'm helping?
Well, it was only embarrassing when I would see someone in school, like I would knock on a door and a kid's at school, like
or a girl you're into.
yes, like I have a crush on this girl and I knock on her door and like, what are you doing here? I'm like,
Just the reason we're all here. If you want to talk about it, I don't know. This is the word of God.
it was the worst because like Monday you would have to like, so why were you at my door? And I'm like trying to make a lie. It's like no, but it's like there was a time where I was like, yeah, I was going door to door and I was Jehovah's Witness, and then it's like it was fine, but like when I didn't have to deal with anyone from my school, I loved it.
Yeah.
I think I just love the interaction.
Walk us through it. You come up, let's say, walk us through a good interaction.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Oh.
Sorry.
Hi, it's Sunday morning and you're a pain in my ass. How are you?
Hi. My name's Brian Mitchell, and I'm at the local Kingdom Hall.
I don't have cash or cards.
Oh, it's okay. We don't want anything like that. Only thing we wanted to talk to you about is what's going on in the world today.
Kendra, you take this one.
Oh my, what is going on in the world?
Well, I mean, you see a lot of destruction, and as you see, there's a hurricane.
That's good for you guys. There's always, right? Like it's timeless. I mean, now more than ever. Am I wrong, folks?
It's like in the days, but it's in the.
And you were believing this. This is why you were good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you wanted to save people.
I was a save, and like the thing was, it's like I would get you in the door, then an older person would then come in and swoop.
Ooh.
So like I like they're like, yeah, I'll take your watchtower and awake, and then I'd have been like, okay, good, you write that down, and then I would just give it to like an older person that I was going door to door with, and then they just hand it off.
Oh, the Glengarry leads. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's like at a flea market when my mom would have me buy the bras. Can I have this for a nickel? Yeah, boy, you can have it for free, you fucking weirdo. And then I send my mom over for the panties.
Yeah. Very good.
I hear the bras are only 5 cents. Panties are too, right? It's like, this family's weird. I get you.
But there's only so much space in heaven, right?
Yes.
How many of you are allowed?
144,000.
Okay, that's very few.
Oh, you guys have a cutoff. So let's say the world's been around approximately forever, let's say. And you're up to how many thousand do you think right now?
Ooh, yeah, we're pretty close. I think we're probably turning away. Like there's a wait list. So
That's the thing is you're trying to convert people so you can get more points to go to heaven, but then they have an option to go to heaven.
Well, they don't have to go to heaven. We're going to have a paradise on earth. Okay. So the anointed would go up in heaven. And then.
But if you're cooling down the earth, you stay down on earth.
You stay down on earth. Yeah. You're a down earth cow. You can stay here.
What, like as a ghost?
No, not a ghost. The thing is, so when Armageddon happens, the people that are non-Jehovah's Witnesses will kill each other, like in the streets, and then we just clean up. And then it's like it's our place now. Yeah,
and that's heaven on earth.
They never say like how we're supposed to clean up all these dead bodies. That's the one thing.
That's funny. You're cleaning up your next door neighbor who you used to hang out with. Like, well, we're in heaven, I guess. I don't know.
I can finally get his TV. He's got a pretty good 50-inch there.
Oh yeah.
Would you guys have do you have an end date to the world, and does it keep changing, or is that a different religion? I'm thinking.
The Jehovah's Witnesses in the 20s did put a date on it, and then
in the 20s, 1920s,
like 1926, I recall, somewhere around there. And then they stopped. They're like, we can't.
Yeah, you guys, all places, people gotta stop that. It's really.
I love their excuses. It's like, oh, we gotta fix it. There's a thing.
Yeah, we didn't carry the 1,000. I remember being a kid, and my dad would sit these people down. That they think it's vice versa, and they would bring up the end of days, and it was always in a couple years.
Yes,
and I couldn't help but jump in. Maybe I'm 16, and I'd say, "Dear, you mentioned that you have 2 little kids. Do they go to school?" And the guy goes, "Yeah, of course." And I say, in all sincerity, "Isn't that the rudest fucking thing?"
Ooh,
I didn't say fucking, but I'm like, let them live. You have 5 more years on Earth, and they have to go to school.
Whoa!
But because you didn't. Oh, because it's the end of the world. But it wouldn't be the end of the world for you guys.
Not for us,
Just for you heathens.
So you got to do math on Earth.
So if you're a Jehovah's Witness, you're not dead. you and I, Keith, will kill each other. He's going to hang back until he's to clean our body.
Oh, and you're still a regular human?
Regular
and
human.
you got to go to school.
Oh, you still
We'll
have to
probably
go.
have like some sort of Jehovah's school.
I mean, everything's a Jehovah's school at that point,
Yeah,
right?
everything's Jehovah's school. Yeah.
So what got you out of it? Because that's a rough one to get out of. You lose your community.
I think that was just losing the community and just.
What turned you off? Was it divorce? And then you're like, well, I don't believe anything now?
It was the divorce and just how people, all my people that I grew up with, like, didn't want to talk to me anymore, or like talk to me a little bit differently. They're like, because there's always like a family in the congregation, like with one person that's disfellowshipped or like not in good standing, because like you want a Jehovah's Witnesses like going out every Sunday and Saturday, but some are like, you want to look loosey goosey, like I go when I want to, and that's what they kind of treated us as. Like those where we were like the high echelon Jehovah, but now everyone's like, you're mediocre. And like I remember like my tipping point was I was at like a Target, and this mom that I like always went to their house to hang out, she like wouldn't even say anything to me. I was like, I'm done. Like then I just finished high school, like went to college, and just like that's where I like was like, no Jehovah's, like this is my time.
But how did you feel letting go of that?
It was terrible.
Guilty.
Yeah, I think I felt guilty until I was like 25 or so, just because.
Isn't that interesting? You recognize the hypocrisy. You're not believing it anymore necessarily, but you still feel bad. When I got out of the Catholic religion, I didn't feel, I knew it was bullshit, so I immediately didn't feel bad.
Yeah.
That's funny to know it's bullshit, but
I know it's that
you got to like step down. It's like, okay, now I don't do this, now I don't do this, and then all of a sudden, because like you're re-normalizing yourself. There's it is amazing what you can do to children. You could make them be in this world, feel like anything. You're actually filling their head with what the world is. It's like they're a computer, and you're the simulation.
I had to totally like go past my programming. That's what I felt like. That's like when I was 25. I'm like, I feel like everything that I've been instructed, like I'm out. I feel like I'm out.
That's scary. So what?
it's scary that my dad was a virus.
It makes more sense.
Yeah.
So did you learn about other religions? Are you agnostic?
When I took a anthropology class in college and learned about all the bones and stuff, and I'm like, this is okay. This is mostly because they're like, everything was created in 6 days, rib or whatever. But to see, and I was like always a science nerd, so I'm like, to see the bones and see the advancement of the human.
To see evolution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
you're not
okay.
allowed to say the word still, right?
Yeah, it still buzzes me.
So that's when you're learning about Satan.
That's when I'm learning about Satan and his tricks. His bag of tricks,
I'm gonna plant more bones. Oh, he's good.
Where does he plant all these bones? When he got time?
There's some weed and bones.
Yes. So like that time, like my sophomore year of college, like that's when I was like, all right, I'm getting it. I'm understanding it.
Wow. So you educated yourself out of the belief system.
Yeah, and like I would take.
Do you feel comfortable saying you're an atheist? Okay. 'Cause that's a tough one for people.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
No.
Let me try it.
Like Fonzie apologizing. When was your first official birthday cake?
Oh, good question.
That's a great question.
Anybody ever fuck with you? I would see you eating cake. I'd be like, not for nothing. That's a birthday. Go fuck yourself.
Like you spike cakes by just calling them birthday.
Yeah. I put candle in your cake mid chew.
Can't touch it.
Happy birthday to you.
Oh man, my first.
When is your birthday? Are you allowed to say it?
Yeah, April.
April what?
April 7th.
All right,
Okay.
we're having a Satan party.
Yes. Really, my first cake was 30 when I was year 30.
And how did that orchestrate?
It was my girlfriend at the time.
Ooh, heathen.
My girlfriend at the time, she's very heathen. Wanted it just surprised me with this cake, and I remember like I was kind of taken back. So I'm like, oh, this is mine.
I picture you like poking it at first with your finger.
I like sniffing it like a dog, just like barking at it,
Did you feel guilty eating it?
Yes,
Yeah?
I did.
But you did it on purpose, like consciously going, it's cake, it's okay.
Yes, it was one of those things.
You're
like
sweating like it's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
it was like one of those hurdles. I needed to do it. Like it was like I was unlocking, like this is like a video game. I was unlocking like an award by doing this.
Imagine it goes down the wrong pipe. You're choking. You're like, yeah, no shit.
Like I'm going back to Jehovah. I'm going back to Ohio. I'm like, this is what. Sorry.
What kind of cake was it? Because that'd be a bummer if it's some shitty
Devil's
No,
food cake.
it was one of those
devil's food cake.
No, it was one of those Dairy Queen ice cream cakes.
Okay.
So it was perfect.
You dumped her, right? Because, oh my God.
No, those are good. Those are good.
Those are great.
I'm kidding.
She put all like I was a big Star Trek fan, so she got like a Star Trek like all with all the characters on it. It was great.
That's so nice.
It was super great. Yeah.
Wow. Which one did you eat? Which character?
First I ate Data, and then I got Worf. So I just went around.
Great choice.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
started messing around. But yeah,
When I look at the autocorrect or auto finish, are Jehovah's Witnesses, number one, of course, black, allowed to drink, saved. Again, people are so simple. It's like, I know being saved is the right thing. So are they saved?
Yeah.
Allowed to date. You would chaperone Jehovah's Witnesses on dates.
Yeah.
But you're a cool chaperone. You'd let them fuck.
I would let them. They knew for some. I don't know why they do, but it was great. They were just like they would like give me like a good meal, and then like they would leave like while I was eating. They would go like fool around, and then like I would have to like. I remember this one time like I was eating.
How old are you? 16, and how old are they?
Yeah, they were.
Everyone's 16.
Right.
They were like 20, 22,
Ew.
It was like, yeah,
Sorry.
young. No, that's like in the
No,
real.
old.
Oh, they're older than you.
Yeah.
Ew. Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Fuck off. This fucking kid is stopping me from tonguing my
It's
boyfriend.
like, hey, get out of there.
I'm
Come on.
going to give you a shot of Benadryl. You'll fall asleep. I fuck on you. Fucking kid.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah. I was good. I was like a warden. I would just like, your minutes are up. Come on. Come back inside. But yeah, that's how it was great. They were like, then I would get more calls from like other couples. Like, hey, can you chaperone us? Like, sure, $50.
I heard good things.
I heard good things.
Now I hear you cost, surf and turf, but I'm hard up.
See, what's funny is everyone's still pretending like they're acting in the religion.
Exactly.
And they're just finding stupid loopholes that mean nothing. Where really it's just go do your thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just flat out call it. It's the butt religion. You do it only in the butt.
How old were you when you lost your your
Same
virginity? Yeah.
16.
16?
Yeah.
That's pretty young.
It was one of those where
She insisted.
she's like, come on. But it was one of those where like I wasn't thinking about. I think it was just one of those.
You got horny? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I got horny, and I think I was probably like mad at like the congregation somewhere. So I was like, all right.
Were you in love?
I was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah,
Was it nice?
It was nice because like she was kind of like the first one I really opened up to about what was happening, and like she was very she understood.
You've had a lot of good luck with women.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have like really nice relationships. Did you have a bad breakup ever?
I had I guess the girl that got me the ice cream cake. We had like a bad one. It was just kind of one of those where it went its way. It went its route kind of deal. And
Like you should have broken it off sooner, and
Yeah.
now you guys are not talking nice to each other.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like we were nothing like we were still talking nice or whatever, but it was one of those where it was just I felt like it was more taxing than anything. It really I don't feel like that should be like what the relationship be really.
Well, I got news for you. That was a pretty decent breakup. No, we weren't saying bad things to each other. No.
we never. Yeah, I've never been like we're yelling or anything. But yeah, it was just one of those where I'm like, you're exactly right. It was like one of those like it should have been done a long time ago. But I think it was also like
Since nobody fucked up, there was no reason to break up except just to break up.
Yeah, and I think I was thinking like in my head, like, oh, I'm gonna do like what my parents did, like divorce wise. Like, no, I'm gonna try to work out whatever this is, But it's like, no, you don't have to do that, like all that stuff. But it's just one of those learning.
I feel like it's a big reason people leave religion. I'm getting this vibe that why did you quit religion? I found real caring. I found a person that cares in the real way.
Without the contradiction action,
Yeah,
without
exactly.
going, I care about you, but why can't you be like this?
Right. Now, I remember when I first started questioning religion and I know it's on one of my albums, I was 18, and I got my first blowjob. Nice. I came. My eyes started flickering like I was downloading helicopter instructions in the Matrix, and I just sat straight up and went, "It's all fake. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit." She's like, "What?" It's all
I'm
bullshit.
glad we both had the same ordeal. Just like when you have that sex, it's like you take that blue pill. And you're
Right.
like, let's go. Yeah.
So you're with your girlfriend now for about 4 years?
Yes.
Moved in 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. And how's it going living with somebody as opposed to before you were living with comics?
Yeah, and that it takes a little bit to get domesticated a little bit
Yeah.
when you're living with like 3 other dudes. You
Well, I
know?
imagine you're doing bits all the time, and you're like, how about a clean your dishes bit?
Yeah.
How about an improv me your cut of the electric bill? How about that? Well, it gets a little disgusting.
It does get disgusting. So it's a great change of pace to like just be like feels normal, and going to bed at a regular time. It just and she's very lovely, and I appreciate like everything that she does, and it's just just happy. Just it's one of those you go through all these like different relationships, and when you find one that like you feel like great footing, it's like, oh, this is what that feels like,
Do you guys ever role play Jehovah's Witness?
A little bit, just on Saturday mornings. Yeah.
I'm not interested, but tell me more. You took the time.
Then I'll be like, hey, you're going too far. You're going too close. Yeah.
Are your parents okay with? I assume that she's not a Jehovah's Witness because you're not giving a fuck about that. So
Right.
it would be hard to find a Jehovah's Witness.
Right.
Are your parents fine with it?
She goes, I don't know, Brian. I dig it.
Yeah, okay. Right. Are they okay with it? And do you feel okay with like living in sin? Do you still have that?
I don't feel that living in sin thing anymore, and my mom has been super like supportive of me, and she loves my girlfriend, so that's also a great thing too. It's one of those. I've never little bit like I think if I ever had her like where she wasn't approving, like I would still like go do it, but I'm like,
But she's reasonable, so you would take it into account.
yes,
Does she date? Does your mom date?
not really. No.
Do you know why? Like,
I think it's one of those still like she is scared of
she got burnt.
got burnt, yeah, so it's kind of hard for her to go back out again. I think
You ever want to set her up? Do you feel heartbroken about her?
Yeah because like she lives on her own and stuff, so it's like my older brother has grandkids, so like she has a good like community to be around, but yeah, I don't know. It was like no man is good for my mom.
right.
One of those.
Okay.
All right, we're going to do a quick word association, okay?
Okay.
I'm going to say a word. You say the very first thing that comes to your mind,
Okay.
no matter how ridiculous.
All right.
Okay, ready? Love.
Heart balls.
Heart balls, all right? Birthday.
Scary.
God.
Scary.
Atheism.
What is that?
Stepmom.
Anger.
Okay.
Oh, good one. Very nice. You did really well on that.
Check out Brian online at Twitter and Instagram. Comic Bam.
That's me.
BAM.
How did we get to Comic Bam?
I was setting up my Twitter name a long time ago, and I was like, I didn't know what to do. I wanted to do because dumb. My regular screen name is Cap Bam, and it's Captain Brian Allen Mitchell because I'm such a Star Trek nerd. But I didn't. That was already taken, so that was tough. That was very tough for me to deal with.
Somebody already made captain.
Someone already made captain before me. So yeah, I was just asking some friends to make what would be good. So
Okay.
Comic Bam.
So you don't have those friends anymore, right?
They're gone. They're totally gone.
It's funny when people make up their own titles. Like even Colonel Gaddafi. He's like, I'm not a general. I'm just a colonel. Like, well, you made it up. Be a general.
You did it.
No, I didn't earn it. You have a podcast, Agents of Flail.
Yes.
I assume that's a pun of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes, it's very dumb. Yes.
What does Flail stand for?
I forgot.
Okay. All right. Very good. I see it's an acronym, but who knows? And what do you talk about? Marvel?
Yeah, we do. It's just like it's an improvised podcast where, because like in every Marvel movie, there's like disasters, like everything, like buildings get corrupted or not corrupted, but destructed. So we create like a town hall, so those people in the Marvel universe can we just get improvised. Like we'll watch like a clip of of one of the movies, and we go through the timeline, and they just yeah, I was driving down and Iron Man killed me, just like that, and we have some really great fun.
That's so fun.
Yeah, and most time I just have me and Tyler Richardson do it, and we just get two people, and it's just great, and it's just a fun,
next
dumb
time
time.
Mike Lawrence is in town, you should totally have him on.
Oh my God, that'd be so great.
Love to hear you guys together.
Yeah, it's a great time. Yeah, it's super dumb, and like I always try to keep them like 8 to 10 minutes. It's like it's just a fun little character.
That's
It's
cool.
kind of good for improvisers to just get a character out.
Well, it's very nice meeting you, Brian.
It was great meeting you.
And I'll tell you what, I look forward to fighting you at the end of days. I'm going to the gym now. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. Spread the word. That's what keeps us going. And we'll talk to you soon.